Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life with Sterling Fox on AM 650.
And welcome back to the program. On this episode of Boomer Life, we're talking about retirement living. We're talking with the experts from Revera Retirement Living. Rob Gillis and Simone from Revera's Fleetwood Villa are with us in studio, along with Lydia Miller, Revera's Regional Director of Sales in the Vancouver office. So tell us a little bit more. Now, okay, so what I've learned about Fleetwood Village so far, Rob, is that you have music every Friday night. The odd beverage gets poured. You have 2 levels of care. And how many people there? How many residents?
We have 170 residents currently living at Fleetwood Villa.
Okay.
10 of them are couples.
Oh, all right. Okay. And now tell us a little bit about the community itself. What amenities are offered, Simone, and just walk us through it. Paint us a picture, if you will.
Okay. Well, we sit on a 2.2 acre lot. We have our private courtyard. We're actually located very close to shopping and the bank, and actually very close as well to the Surrey Fleetwood Library and the Senior Center. Mm-hmm. We offer 166 suites. 60 of them are actually funded by Fraser Health. So we offer funded suites as well.
That's the only one of my buildings that offers that.
Okay, I won't stop you now, but I'll come back and ask you what that means.
Okay.
So 60 of them are Fraser Health funded.
Right.
And carry on. What else is going on there?
Okay, well, we offer a full calendar of activities.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, about 6 or 7 activities per day. As Rob mentioned earlier, we have our social hour on Fridays, but we also have a very popular Toonie Tuesdays, where all the drinks are just $2 each.
Oh, Toonie Tuesdays. Gosh, I like the sound of that myself.
That's right. Family and friends are welcome to come.
Okay.
We have bus trips. We have our own 18-passenger bus that takes to the residents to the mall every Mondays.
Okay.
And every Thursdays, we actually have full-day bus trips that brings them to either the casino, Steveston, Whistler, parks. It's usually the residents who tell us where they want to go, and it's scheduled with our Director of Recreation.
Okay.
Granville Island, Stanley Park.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Rob, Simone was talking about some suites at Fleetwood are Fraser Health subsidized or funded. What does that mean in the grand scheme of things? I'm just trying to understand the economics of how that works.
Well, some of our seniors in our communities are challenged financially. They have a limited number of dollars, and being that Revera, for most of our suites, it's all what we refer to as private pay, where the residents come in and they choose what service levels that they want,
right.
and that's what they pay to stay at our residence, including their meals and activities and everything else. Well, some of our residents simply can't afford that. Some residents in the community can't afford that. So what Fraser Health does is, in conjunction with BC Housing, is they look to see if you're qualified to qualify under their program, and to qualify you would need to have something that you would need as far as assisted living, so either some help bathing or etc.
Right,
like
you would have needs. Right, okay.
They have to have some needs. They
Right.
can't be 100% independent.
Right.
And then what they do is they take 70% of their after-tax dollars as the rent for what they're paying at Fleetwood Villa, and then the rest is subsidized by Fraser Health and BC Housing. So it makes affordable living for those that can't really afford to be in one of our communities, but it allows them to do that and have a fabulous quality of life. And for the residents that are part of our funded community, they're interspersed throughout the building, so nobody in the building know who's funded and who's not.
As it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is a unique situation in that most people prefer private pay, because then you can customize the services you need.
Of course.
You won't be dictated to as to when you'll have your bath that week if
Right.
you only want one. If you wish to have 2 or 3, then you can tell us that, and on our care side, we can provide that. If you want a certain type of meal, you have that opportunity as well. Like at Fleetwood Villa, they have 3 different levels. There are 3 different meal service times, so that not everybody is rushing to a cafeteria-like environment and waiting or getting cold food or anything like that. So it's staggered, and we can accommodate our residents and our guests better.
Simone, I wanted to ask you, because you rattled off quite a list of things going on, one of which was multiple activities every day. There's a list of things that folks can get involved in. I would assume, however, that these are organized by your team, but only are participated in by people who want to attend whatever these events. None of this stuff is mandatory, is it?
No, it's not. It's
all voluntary.
yeah, it's all voluntary. The services are there for them if they want to avail of it.
Right.
And, some of them would go to all the events if they could. Some of them would only go on a particular one because they like playing cards or they like going to the mall.
Sure,
And they
sure.
can invite family to join them.
Now, the reason I ask this, Rob, is because there are some myths out there about retirement living that perhaps need to be, burst. And I think one of them is the fact that, and these are the reasons people come up with for, I don't want to go there. My kids want to put me in a home. Can you imagine? Yeah. And that conjures up all sorts of really gothic, terrible images from when our senior parents were little, and those were the only kinds of facilities available in those days. So, but one of the myths is, well, you essentially surrender control of your life to professional people who put you through all of these things every day, and you just kind of go along for the ride. And that's really a myth. That's really just wrong, isn't it?
I totally understand why people have that perception. Before coming into the industry, I had that perception myself, but nothing could be further from the truth. We offer independent living, which means you have an independent life. If you decide that you don't want to have dinner at Fleetwood Villa, you want to go out for dinner with your family or just go out to a restaurant, just sign out and you're off. You go out, do what you want to do.
Right.
The one thing we do insist at the property is that you do eat.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You can the other options for different opportunities. They're there, and they can pick and choose what other things they want. But we do insist that they eat. But as far as
and that's fair ball, Rob. I don't think any of us boomers would object to the home, the community in which our parents are living would insist that they eat. I think that'd kind of be number one on our list of priorities.
Oh, yeah.
Lydia.
I like eating.
Yeah.
Other aspects of community life at Fleetwood Villa. If you're a pianist and you want to play the piano, well, you just come down into where our piano is. We turn off the sound system and you sit and play the piano at your leisure. Mm-hmm. And then what you'll find is other residents find that so heartwarming, they come down and they're sitting listening to the pianist who's playing.
Sure.
Right? But
even if you're not that great, and you haven't played for a while or you're just practicing, it's wonderful to tinkle on the ivories.
Absolutely.
And I hear we're going to be getting you a grand piano, right?
That is my understanding, and our residents are thrilled.
I'll bet.
The music programming that we have coming into Fleetwood Villa is unbelievable. I mentioned Friday nights for our live music. We have different volunteer groups that come in that have just unbelievable pianists, singers, entertainers that are in throughout the course of the week and on weekends. And it's I pigeonholed us saying that we had the Friday happy hour, but there's entertainment that's happening throughout the building on an almost daily basis.
Interesting stuff. Now, you described yourself as, you give us a little bit of an insight into your background musically, because growing up in a very musical household, it was inevitable that you too would become a musical guy. Yeah. You ended up, however, spending a great number of years in the hotel business around Vancouver, specifically here in Richmond even. Since you've gone over to the other side, to the seniors retirement living option, what have you noticed is the biggest difference between being a hotel professional, Rob, and an executive in the seniors retirement living community?
Stirling, one of the reasons, it's probably one of the key reasons that I was in the hotel business, and what really motivated me in the hotel business, was that when we had guests coming into the property for a day, 2 days, a week, everything we did at the hotel made a difference in their life, even if it was just for a short period of time.
Okay.
When I moved into the seniors living industry, one of the big motivators for me was every decision we make as executive directors, directors of recreation, administration, to the frontline staff, every decision we make impacts in many cases, the rest of our residents' lives. And that is so empowering. It makes me feel as if everything I do matters. And it doesn't matter to a stranger that's going to be leaving in a couple of days.
Sure.
It matters to somebody that is going to be there a long time. It's going to matter to their families. It's giving their families peace of mind, knowing that there's a team there that really cares about what is happening with every individual resident.
Simone Polaire, you're Rob's assistant executive director at Fleetwood Villa. And Rob just talking about working with families of your residents. How important are families and their ongoing presence at Fleetwood to the well-being of their family members who live there?
It's very important that the residents continue enjoying their life. For the family who used to support being the caregiver for them before,
Right.
it gives them actually more time to enjoy the life with their parents.
Aha! Because you're not running
Because
yourself
they're not
off your
doing
feet
the work
doing the
for
laundry
them.
and mowing the
Exactly.
lawn.
So they also enjoy their life at the same time, enjoy the rest of the lives of their parents. So that's why we encourage family and friends to come, especially during social hour,
Sure.
because you can actually see the smile on their faces when their family comes and visits them.
All right.
That's been a fear as well from seniors on occasion. Is
Sure.
that once they move, they won't see their family anymore.
And, you know,
the
it's
kids
a-
won't come to visit.
Well, sure. In some cases, for example, suppose now you're still living in the old house, the one you bought back in the 70s when the kids were little, and the kids, of course, have all grown up and gone away. But you know, the youngest son comes by every 10 days to mow the lawn, and well, that's the only time you see him. And so, if you move out of that house into some care community, well, then Junior's not going to come by once every 10 days to mow the lawn, and I'll never see him. So you're right.
you got to get them back to watch movies.
Well, that's right. So, but again, there's a sort of litany of reasons that people find to resist the idea of living in a seniors community, and that's one of them. You know, if you think my family isn't around much now, you put me in a residence, and they'll never come by. And Simone, you're saying that's just not the case. Everybody gets to relax and enjoy themselves.
That's right. And actually, we have about 90 volunteers at Fleetwood Villa. Half of them are actually family members of the residents.
Oh, interesting.
Who, when they moved to Fleetwood Villa, they enjoyed the smile of the faces of the other seniors that they decided to volunteer their time with them.
Interesting. So, Rob, you've created a volunteer network that's comprised, according to Simone, of at least half family members, extended family members of your residents.
I love how you've given me credit for that, Stirling, but nothing could be further from the case.
Oh.
The credit doesn't fall on my lap as I'm pretty new there, but the management team there, led by Simone prior to my coming, have done an amazing job engaging the community and getting them into the building to share their talents, to spend their time, to really feel the rewards of what it's like to volunteer within one of our Revera communities.
Interesting.
I know it's part of my job, and I do go out and visit all of my residences, my buildings, and especially if they have a special event going on. Like you had a Veterans Day, and I know Rob and Simone and Recreation, they were all going to be away that day, so it was all hands on deck. I went out there, happy to help serve, to help clean up, make sure the residents were being taken care of,
Right.
enjoy some of the entertainment and share the memories. And I saw all these wonderful young grandchildren and nieces and nephews, and they were coming in. I've seen their faces before.
Right.
And they're all there helping to serve and clean up and help escort people and find chairs. It was wonderful.
Oh, good stuff. And it's kind of heartwarming story, too. Next, when we come back after the break, we're going to talk about making the trip for the first time. What's it like to go to Fleetwood Villa, particularly if you're just really broaching the whole notion of retirement living for your mom or dad. The process, how does it begin, and where does it take you? We'll find out when we continue here on Boomer Life on AM 650.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on AM 650.